Hey, Soca lovers, it's SocaSaySo,
And this chick.
and we're back. It's episode 9 of season 6. And this season, we're tackling the topic, the return. And on this episode, it is the return of Jamila to the hosting stage. If I do say so myself.
And you did. You did say so yourself. Yeah, you did. So I don't even know if they know all of the things that you do and all of the different personas you take on. So this episode, they're going to get really familiar with Jamila, the host.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, you'll never know all of what I do. Okay, mind your business. Let's talk about Jamila, the host. Yeah.
We're not gonna get personal, like a little bit, but not like personal. Okay. So first of all, okay, so you've been doing this for a minute, and I want you to give them a sense of what a host even does and why people ask for people to host their events, and just tell them a little bit of what that entails.
Sure. Well, there's two different kind of hostings that I do personally. So one is where I host the backstage experience, where I interview the artists as they go on or come off the stage and give you a sneak peek into how the event is going on. And I really like that. I really like that a lot. And I feel super comfortable in that position. And then there's the hosting on the stage of an event where you introduce all the acts that come on, and you tell people, get the crowd riled up, and you tell people what the event is about, and if there's any events coming up that they should know about. I like those, but those make me really nervous. Those make me really, really nervous.
It's hard to imagine anything making you nervous. Why do those make you nervous?
Because you're trying to affect a crowd of people. You don't know if only one person's gonna like you, or if they're all gonna chime in. If I make a joke, are you all gonna laugh, or is it gonna fall flat? They're gonna be hecklers there. What can you see on my outfit? Like, it's a lot.
I love to heckle. Get off the stage. We want to see the act. Bring on Kess. Oh, Kess isn't here. Whatever. Okay. No, I'm a big supporter. I love watching you host. I think you differentiate yourself more than other hosts. So you're being super humble right now by not telling people, let me fill them in, since you won't toot your own horn. Let me toot toot. The first time, actually, maybe not the first time, but one time that I saw you host that I really remember was when you were doing kind of like a theme party for New Lions promo, and it was all about Mashel's music. Now, any other host would have just, like you said, gone on stage, try to rile up the crowd before DJs come on, and Mashel was not there, although you may have thought he was there, because Jamila decided, I'm not just going to host, I'm going to wear different outfits that are iconic outfits that Mashel has worn on like album covers or Soca Monarch stages. And so she literally had costume changes to try to look like Mashel in different, like every time she came out, it was like a Diana Ross thing, right? Like different dress, different event, different version of SocaSaySo. I want to understand a little bit why you took it to that nth degree. Like anybody, that was not, by the way, I'm sure, what they asked you to do.
No, they asked me to show up and introduce the DJ and go sit down. That's what they asked me to do. I decided that since they went so far to have a whole event themed with Mashel music, that I have to bring Mashel to the event, because he wasn't booked. So I decided that I should dress the part. And I am differentiate myself because I am the queen of the costume change, for sure. And I like to dress a part of whatever I'm doing. If it's a gala I'm hosting, I'm wearing a gown. You know, if it's an outdoor event, maybe a flowy something, but I have to play the part. And remember I also told them that I wanted to do a little trivia. So I called somebody on stage and I asked them what they knew about Marshall Montano and his music, and I gave them some cash for that. So I got to try to make sure that the crowd is engaged, and that, you know, they really are immersed in the experience.
Yeah, you went beyond, because that was so great. And I had a great time that night, thanks to you and alcohol. But but even after drinking so much, I remember everything that you did. So there you go. That was memorable.
Mm-hmm.
Because the alcohol didn't filter that out. I still remembered that part. But that was super cool. And that's when we used to go outside. You remember those times. Um, while we were on lockdown, we had the pandemic. How did that affect hosting for you? What did you miss about being like actually in live events?
So I actually hosted way more events while we were in lockdown, because there were um, uh, so many events that, like, fundraisers especially, that the show had to go on. Otherwise, your organization is not going to survive, because you need funds, right? So their events had to go on. And they needed somebody who was going to be in this little box and be engaging. And
They were
after I did,
virtual, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, after I did one, I got quite a few bookings, because even though it's in a virtual space, and a lot of times I can't see the audience at all, I talk to the camera like I'm talking to a person. And usually there's at least one person, the cameraman's in the room. So I engage with them. If I could get a laugh out of the people in the background, like that are in the production team, then I'm good. I'm like, okay, I know people at home are feeling it. If you know you're supposed to be quiet while we're shooting and you're laughing, I know I did the thing. So I was booked, and I was so happy about that. It's you know, hard to like get all dressed up and made up and just like sit down in a venue with like 3 people, but I got it done. Yeah. Those are really good. And then what I like about those is I feel like the reach of people were so much more. Like I got calls saying that, you know, people are in Barbados and Jamaica and they saw me, and I'm like, oh, you know, if I was hosting an event in Brooklyn, you know, it'd just be the people that are in the event. So it was really good to be seen by people around the world.
And they needed to see that, especially, you know, you talk about virtual events, technical difficulties happen, everybody knows this, but the way you managed to navigate that was so interesting. Like I stayed on because I was still watching you, like while everything else is burning. I'm like, does she know what's going on?
Yeah, I don't like to pretend that there's nothing happening, right? So I'll always acknowledge with the audience that here, hey, we're having technical issues, but you know what? You can see me, you can hear me. We're gonna have a good time until they figure themselves out. We don't need, you know, all the hoopla. We know what we came here for. Let's stay on topic. Give people a little like games to play in their house while, you know, while we're waiting. Go find this, go find that. Um, I I had a couple of a couple of events where it was like, is the sound on? Can anyone see me? But I can't tell because I didn't have monitors in those events. And so I'm just like doing a dance and truly trying to stay calm and hoping that, you know, I look good. And one thing I know is that, like, even if there's like dead air or something, you can't just look crazy. Like I try to stay up, stay happy, stay you know, in the mood, because once you go dead face, then everybody's going to turn off.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you should package that, because I've seen events, of course, during the pandemic, a lot of things were virtual and they had technical difficulties and it was painful to watch.
Yeah.
And you were still very entertaining, very engaging. You know, there's a viral video of Bungie at, I think it was Red Edge Fest, where sound is off or something's not working out and he just freestyles and it becomes like a chant. And I felt
Mhm.
like in those moments you were very Bungie. You were
I
just,
will take that compliment. Thank you.
you were freestyling it until they hurry up and fix it. Like you, you were just doing what you needed to do,
Mhm.
being professional, staying in the moment, staying engaged. And I think a lot of people didn't drop off because you were still connecting with them in that way. So that
Yeah.
was really good to know. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But tell them about these events. I mean, like, what kind of events have you hosted in the past? We mentioned you did virtual, you do things in person. Any of your favorites, any of those that stick out to you that you're like, ooh, I really like that one.
Um, well, I mean, I really like that I got to throw to Mom Motley for during an awards gala. A FUI had their awards gala on, and we were trying to figure out, like, we had a lot of high profile awardees and presenters on the gala, and they said I was going to get to introduce she's Prime Minister of Barbados, and
For the second term, yep, she's still
yeah,
prime minister.
and then she mentioned my name, and I was like, oh, she knows me.
All you
I
need.
really lost it. I was also on another fundraiser with Maxi Priest, and I was on the screen same time as him, and I like introduced him. And I was just so touched because my mom really loved Maxi Priest. My mom passed away already. And so I was like, oh my goodness, she would have been so excited to know that I was talking to Maxi Priest. Those are virtual. I do, Brata Productions has an event where they have small businesses selling their wares, and I interview the business owners and give them space to talk about what they're selling. I really like that because I love working with small business owners and helping them boost themselves. In person, this year, I was covering By Veil in Miami, and I was performing, and for some reason, DJ Duchess decided she was going to be in charge of the hose. And at the end of that performance, I was soaking wet and interviewing. I was like dripping, which I thought was the best thing ever because
Yeah.
I'm dripping wet next to the water, Lord. I'm like, this is how you're supposed to do it.
Why
Yes.
does anyone interview Iowa dry?
Like, did you even see the performance? Those are some. And then I mean, there's been a lot. I mean, I love talking to the artists. Like, I really love talking to the artists. I've done Lil Rick's party in Brooklyn this year. I had to also work the crowd and interview random people in the crowd, and that is different. I also did that at International African Arts Festival. Talking to people in the crowd is really, that's really different because you get people who say yes, but they really don't want to talk, and then, or they like do one word answers, and so you got to pull things out of them, or people who don't want to stop talking. So it's very interesting. So because you have to stare them where you want. Like, I got 30 seconds. Come on.
I love it. Well, you're no stranger to interviewing, but I love how you throw in the International Arts African Arts Festival, because that was a super cool event. And we went there and we were like, oh, we're gonna go support you. But then you were you were interviewing people like in another space. And I was like, oh, we can't go over there. We have to be quiet. But we're like, hi, Jamila. With all of the energy without interrupting, but you were just like laser focused. You came to do your job, you did your job. And so yes, obviously you host things that are not always soca, You do things that are, you know, like you said, about small businesses, everything else, like it runs the gamut. But
Mhm.
how do you still keep that frame of mind? Like you're interviewing like, or you're passing it to the Prime Minister of Barbados, or you're
Mhm.
passing it to Dougie Fresh, or
Yeah.
you're passing it to, you know, somebody else who is like these major names, and you're just like, yes, I'm here to do my job. How do you keep that focus? Because I'm not gonna lie, I'd have been fangirling like crazy.
Yeah. You know what? In reality, sometimes I just straight up tell them I'm fanning out right now. And they're always, it's so funny. The artists are always shocked when I say that. Like, I guess they get interviewed by a lot of people who don't know them. And that's one thing about me. Whether it's soca or not, I'm going to research this artist before I speak with them. I need to know about them. That's why I don't like when I go to an event and they just throw an artist in front of you and I don't know them. I'm like, oh, I want to ask pertinent questions to you and what you're doing. I want to help you promote what your new song is right now. So if I know that you're promoting a new album right now, I want to make sure I mention it, because sometimes they just come off the stage and their brain is all over the place. They don't even remember they just released an album like last week, right? So I try to fully research the event, research the artist or the public figure I'm speaking to, and then I try to be as professional as possible. And when I just can't, I let them know. I let them know. Like I feel like everybody deserves their roses, and
Mm.
if I'm smiling extra hard, you're gonna see it. We don't really have a poker face, so might as well just tell you and put it on camera, because then they always blush, and I get a good reaction out of them.
It's very different. One, when you research people, I
Mhm.
think you and I both know we've seen some other people who are calling themselves bloggers all of a sudden, and they're interviewing people and they haven't done any research. And so they're like looking for that artist or that person to kind of make the interview, like, tell us about this, because they don't have that background. Or
Right.
they don't really you know, we tend to do soca events, but you know, you and I both do different things, and we fall in love with what we're doing. And so you get a different reaction when you're talking to someone and you're like, so what about that album you released the last time? And oh my goodness, did you see what Vogue said about you in that last thing? And did you see that you were like the recipient of this small business award? Like, you get a different reaction from them
Mhm.
when you come from that place of knowledge.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, that's super dope. But yeah, you still keep it together when you don't know. I know you, so I know there are times when you're like,
Yeah, because
but
it
other people
happens.
wouldn't know.
It happens, and I find that a lot of times people hire me based off of someone else's say so, and someone, or they saw me host something, and they don't know that that thing was highly scripted, or I had a month to research people, and then they're like, well, can you do this for us in the morning? We lost our host, or we didn't think we needed a host, and now we really do, so can you come now? And then they're expecting me to perform on the same level as something that's highly scripted, or as something that I had a long time to research, and I can't fail. I just won't. So I do have to, like, a lot of times I'm Googling people like half a second, like, what'd you say your name was again? And I have to just be frank with some people, like, listen, I don't know you at all, but I want you to shine. And as long as I tell them that, like, I'm here on your side, help me out to really talk about you, then they're like, oh, I got it. I know me. No problem. No problem. But I don't like it when they just thrust topics on me, but it must be done.
It must. It must. And you're West Indian, so you can't just not do well. Like, what are we
Exactly.
nuts? But yeah, so you know, you mentioned the research, you mentioned really trying to get that connection. There are lots of people who like to break into different things, try new things. There may be some people who are listening, watching, and they want to know, okay, I think I can be a host. I think I could do that. I could talk to people. I'm great with people. I'm great in front of the camera. What advice would you give them if they're just like, I think I'm gonna jump on that ship right now and I'm gonna do it?
Mhm. I think first you have to try to figure out what's your strong point. Is your strong point interviewing, or just or just like talking to a crowd? Do you just want to be on stage, or do you mind just being backstage? And then whichever that is, we have the luxury of all this new social media tools that you can try it out. So you can go on YouTube. If you say, I want to do interviews, you can interview your brother, your sister, your mother, just to see how you're going to look on camera, how you're going to feel. It's not the same as the bright lights of an actual camera, but it really gives you a sense of, you know, honing your craft and figuring out timing, because 1 minute can be super short, or it could feel really long if you're talking to somebody you have nothing to say. So you really have to start practicing timing, and then try to figure out what kind of events you will want to host, and start getting to know those promoters that put on those kinds of events. Start talking to them and putting a bug in their ear for the future events, right? Letting them know, okay, I know you do 4 things a year. I think, you know, you should put me on that third one. I could really, you know, bring another experience to your event. I think you have to upsell yourself. You have to tell them, I'm great, you need me. And that's not easy for everybody to do. It's definitely not easy for me to do. But also, if you start recording yourself on YouTube or Instagram, then you have something you can give them. And you can say, you know what, Terry, check out, I'll email you, check out this link, look at what I've done already. And then that they'll at least have something to look at to see if it makes any sense to have you. Because that's how I got started. When I was doing my own thing on SocaSaySo, people came to me and like, I think you should host my event. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, host it, like stand on stage? You think that's the same thing as me sitting in front of my phone? Like what? But I do want to do it. And then when I, you know, got a couple of chances, like, this is really what I want to be doing. This is what I want. And I love talking to the artists. And I interview artists for SocaSaySo on Tuesday. I interview artists all the time. So it was a good transition over.
Yeah. And
So
since you won't
practice.
say it, yeah, I'll say it. She's great. You need her. It's amazing. It really is great to see you growing in this. And sometimes it is taking advantage of those opportunities. Maybe you wouldn't have thought of this for yourself, but someone saw something in you and said, I think you should do this. And then having the courage to do it, the courage to really try to, you know, promote yourself and get familiar with it and do it to the best of your ability, as opposed to, okay, sure, I'll just say words into a microphone and everyone will love me.
And you have to think about your price like right away.
Oh, yes.
Because they'll say, oh, I think you should do it. How much do you charge? What? You immediately have to think about how much you want to be paid. How much are people getting paid in the industry that you're in? How much is it worth to you? Your time, like, don't forget, like, especially women, like, your outfits, your makeup, your hair, like your nails, like all of the things, your travel to and fro, like you have to be fully compensated for all that you're doing. You're a talent on the stage and you're bringing so much to the table. So you have to have your price thought out, because 9 times out of 10, they're going to ask you, or they're just going to tell you like the lowest possible amount. Like, well, we only have this in the budget. Can you do it? And you have to know, no, it's not worth it. Or, yeah, sure, I need the exposure. I'll take this amount for now. And then know when you're going to cut off that exposure limit.
Word. Oh, we've seen that exposure. Yes, I tried to pay Con Ed with exposure. They were not interested. It's like, I'll tell everyone about you, Con Ed. And they were like, no, thanks. We'd prefer your cash. So yes, pricing is of course important. making sure, and this goes beyond just hosting, like we see this in music, in the industry at all together. You know, if you're going to be in that video, if you're going to be on that stage, if you're going to be at that event, hosting that event, promoting that event, make sure that you understand your compensation and your value, because they wouldn't be asking you if it wasn't important.
Mhm.
So if you are going to use your talents, then definitely get compensated. It is a business. And like you said, make sure you understand what people are getting paid. Don't go crazy and be like, I get $1 million. Like, no, thanks.
Right. And you'll never get booked.
You'll never get booked. You'll never get booked. But now we are back outside. Things are opening up, events are going on. We're approaching Memorial Day weekend. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of opportunity for you in the future as the summer rolls on. Is there anything that's upcoming now that you want to shout out, or just tell them how to get in touch with you for hosting?
Sure. Well, I'm not booked for Memorial Weekend yet. So if you have an event and you need a hostess, please contact me. But I am booked the weekend right after. So June 4th, Saturday, I am hosting the libation ceremony for the International African Arts Festival. And that will be performing live at that event will be Olatunji.
Sorry.
Yeah, ADH, Afro hip hop artist, and Thandiswa. She is also a South African based artist, and some dance troops. So that's the libation ceremony. Tickets are on sale right now on Eventbrite. So just look for International African Arts Festival on Eventbrite. And then I will also be hosting the International African Arts Festival. So libation is just the opening ceremony for the festival. The festival is July, I think 2nd through 4th. And I will be out there interviewing the vendors, interviewing the people that are just attending, and interviewing the artists. And I might actually touch the stage. This year. That's a lot of running around to do, but
it's a lot. I can just imagine the costume changes that are going to happen if you have to be in different places. Oh,
exactly. Oh my goodness. So I had a whole lineup of events in Miami last year, and hopefully I will do the same. And I've got a gospel show coming up in August that I will be hosting the interviews for, and praise the Lord. You can check out SocaSaySo for the link to the tickets for that one. It's going to be real good. They have like, all right, let's, sorry. Let me just say this. Like, I'm not a person who's always listening to gospel music, but when they said the artists' names and they play the songs, I'm like, oh, I know this song. They must be huge. The song's gotta be big. Artists gotta be big when I know it. And so I'm super excited about that. So look at SocaSaySo for details on that.
So you're not going to tell us now. You're not going to drop it in the podcast. Not just one name. Just one.
Samuel Nelson is definitely one name. There are a lot of artists, and I don't want to forget any of them. So I'm just going to give you the one, because I think they're up to like 15 artists at this point. It's a lot. It's a mega show. It's a mega show that's going to be in Brooklyn. I think, New York needs a lot of prayer. So I am here for it. I think it's going to be a really moving experience, and it's going to be in a huge venue, which I don't even know how they found it, because
we have a huge venue in Brooklyn.
As far as I know, I've heard that the venue is very huge, and it's going to be a family-friendly event, and so I'm super excited about it.
That's wonderful. All right. Wow. We'll drop all of that into the show notes so people can get that information, get those details, and also tell them how to reach you for these events and hosting.
You know what? You can reach me through SocaSaySo for these events. Although I do not only host for soca events. Like I said, the gospel show, the African festival, I host for anything. But you can reach me at SocaSaySo.com and find out my rates.
Mm. Wow.
I know my rates.
Yeah, rates, y'all. We might have to do an offshoot brand so that they don't just think, oh, she only hosts soca. We will figure that out. You know, I'm your branding consultant. We will come up with something so that we can make sure that when they hear that name, they know this is Jamila and she's going to host your event and it's going to be dope AF.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's work on it.
Points up.
Exactly. Price gone up.
Mm-hmm. Last year's price, not this year's price. Nice. That is amazing. I'm super excited for that. I'm, like I said, ready to return to these events and see you in live in a real life hosting things.
I know, you're ready to go outside. I'm ready to go to lots of carnivals. I don't mind hosting carnival events. There's a lot of them out there right now. And on that note, can I rave?
Give me a minute. Let me think about it and see. Let me weigh the pros and cons. Of course you can weigh. What are you talking about?
Yes. Yes. So I definitely chose to rave to a song by Olatunji because he will be at the libation ceremony for International African Arts Festival. And he will also be on the main stage for the festival itself at Commodore Barry Park. This is one of his big tunes, Don't Stop Carnival. Olatunji.
Aye, aye, aye. This is if you hear them all in Jamaica, all in China, all in Africa, a Trini girl ballin', she live America. She said, Ola Corona, shell down the canker. She ball, long time. She ain't have a nice time. Just up and go outside, party in a boat ride. She say no way. Let me tell you, Tunje, long time in a party in the country. And I real come is me Juve and she ballin', local, regional, interglobal. Corona, shell down carnival. She's a girl, no play with hospital. What she ball? Tell them, keep it good you are. Oh Lord, no, don't stop the carnival. She ball, no, don't stop the carnival. She ball, no, don't stop the carnival. Don't stop the carnival.
Don't stop the carnival, please. Please, make yourself Olatunji. And I will be interviewing Olatunji before libation. That will be posted on SocaSaySo as well. I will be interviewing the artists that will be on libation. And then before festival, I'll be interviewing those artists before. And then after they come off the stage, I'll interview them too.
Nice. Look, just because she's lending herself to all these different things, do not forget this is a Grenadian woman. So I want to shout out because I don't know if they can see it, but my shirt says unapologetically Caribbean from Carry On Friends. I want to big up Carry On Friends, another podcast for Caribbean small businesses. And I think that, obviously we're all in the same boat. We all want to promote Caribbean business. We all want to promote art and culture. We want to promote music. We just want to really do the damn thing. Just get the word out about all these wonderful things you can do in the city, outside of the city, in somebody's island for a carnival. But we're not going to stop being unapologetically Caribbean when we do it. I just wanted to give that shout out because, she's a good friend to District Consulting. So anyhow.
I wish I knew you were wearing that shirt. I would have worn mine.
You've shown up to events looking like the Bobbsey twins before. Okay. We are not doing it on our own podcast. No.
Fine. Well, I would really love to hear from our listeners, our watchers. What events do you want me to host? Listen, have you been somewhere and you said, oh, this is pretty good, or that's who's hosting? That's what you think is funny? Let me know. If you're a promoter, you're putting on an event and you need somebody to host, let me know.
Hold up. Did you just ask our audience to drag somebody?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just tell me which event that was, and I'll go let them know that I'm available.
Wow. Now that's unapologetic. Okay. Definitely, guys, make sure you look out for all of the hosting gigs that are coming from Jamila. We're going to come up with a new brand. But until then, make sure you are following her. Follow SocaSaySo on all social media or go to SocaSaySo.com. Make sure you are following Dish Chick on all social media or go to DYSCHICK.com.
And make sure you're following the podcast anywhere we're there. And go to bkrantandrave.com. Okay, bye.